It's the PHNX Coyotes podcast brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download today using code PHNX and place a $1 bet on any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. It's just that easy. It's episode 18.
18. Do you have any famous 18s? Coyotes history? You're looking at me.
Christian Dvorak, wasn't he?
There you go. That's a good one.
I don't know if he's famous.
I mean,
David Moss.
famous
David Moss. There's a
recent
nice
history.
one. That's a good reference.
Well,
That's what I was looking for.
We're back in the morning. Everyone has their coffee.
A lot more energy the last time we were here at
Already
9.
down.
The clearing needs to happen.
We do need
I
a
did
clearing.
text.
We
Did I
need.
not text? Who wants coffee this morning?
You did, and I said I had coffee.
No response from Morgan. Just saying.
Well, he did walk in on the phone, and you had your
I know.
morning phone calls once again.
I know.
So, you know, I feel. Do you have anything to clear? You came in a little tense.
I'm a little hot today again, but I'll just say this: do you ever have to try to prove who you are? It's harder than you may think.
I know
Seriously.
where we're going with this.
No, I'm gonna let it.
I do,
I'm gonna
'cause
let
I've
it
heard
lie.
all about it.
We're not gonna rehash the whole thing. Other than a driver's license, you need a passport. Well, can't get a passport because of the pandemic. The offices are closed, taking longer. Social Security Administration, guess who else is closed? Social Security Administration can't get a Social Security update. It's difficult to prove that you are who you are.
And
I'll leave it
dental
at that.
records.
Well,
pull a tooth.
buddy, I'm not a big fan of the dentist. They might have to go back to when I was a teenager. That's a whole nother story. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
No, you
I
don't
cleansed and I
apologize.
cleared.
That was your clearing. You had to let it out.
A little more coffee and I'll be fine. Then we can talk hockey.
Do you have anything
I'm
this
good.
morning?
I'm good. I'm zen.
Zen.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Namaste.
It. See how Craig's microphone hits him like in the mouth? Mine hits me in the nose. Like, are we trying to hide me? I get it for ratings. I get it. Like I'm totally on board for that. Okay, now I'm done.
You got
need
anything else?
You need to read the fine print of your contract.
I know.
Little
I know.
details that you gotta-
Yeah, voice for radio.
Here's the
Oh,
height
face
for
for
my
radio. Oh,
microphone.
voice for radio. It's too
Go
bad.
ahead. I'm sorry.
These 9 o'clock shows were a good
We will
idea
get to the
last
show
year.
eventually today.
There are 2 games to talk about.
There
There are like 4 games
yeah,
to talk about.
there was
we,
a big
we count
hockey.
the Sun Devils.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
PD clearly did not read the. I'm just kidding. Yeah, a lot of hockey this weekend. It was funny. At some point yesterday afternoon, during the Cardinals post game, we were like, every Arizona sports team won today and this weekend until the Sun Devils lost, and then the Coyotes lost. Sun Devil hockey lost, and then the Coyotes lost to cap off Sunday. Otherwise, it would have been a perfect weekend for Arizona sports. Mercury, Sun Devil football, Cardinals, Diamondbacks. Although
U of A had a bye week.
yeah, U of A had a bye, so it was a win.
Two impressive football wins. And this is the hockey show, I know,
Yes.
but man, both impressive wins. I didn't see that coming from the Cardinals. Having covered ASU for a very long time and been on all those Southern California trips where there's some calamity befalls the team and they lose in dramatic fashion. I didn't expect them to beat UCLA either. So it was a great weekend for the football teams here.
Well, and then the Coyotes said, hold my beer. I got us. We can't have a perfect Arizona sports weekend. It's just impossible. Luckily, it's just the preseason. So yeah, let's dive into recapping the 2 preseason games that the Coyotes played over the weekend. We'll start on, I guess, the more positive note. Saturday, the Coyotes won 4-3 against the Ducks. Coyotes goals, Chychrun had 2, Larson and Eriksson also scored.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that
Yeah,
game?
I mean, when I watch preseason games, I never take my takeaways are not big picture ever because it's the preseason. It's meaningless from that scale. So I'm looking for little things, and the thing that I really wanted to watch in that game was Jacob Chychrun playing with Anton Strawman for the first time. Andre Tourigny has said that's probably going to be the top pair. But as we've said on the show, we need to see it on the ice to see if it works. You never know if guys are going to have chemistry until they play together. Well, I liked what I saw from them. Chychrun obviously had the 2 goals, but I thought for a first preseason game together, I thought they worked well together. And Chick talked a little bit. We'll have some audio from them later. Talked a little bit about how he sees similarities with Alex Goligoski, which surprised me a little bit. But he also thinks the fact that Strawman's right-handed might help facilitate things a little better in the offensive zone.
Yeah, when you look at the right-hand, left-hand matchup, I know this coaching staff, the previous coaching staff, preached that daily. And that's a way to create more offense in the offensive zone. And when you think about it, if you want to see a right-handed or a left-handed defenseman, a right-handed defenseman playing the right-hand point, they can get the puck off of the wall as it's coming up the wall to them, and they can sling it across to their partner. Well, if you're left-handed, your hands are crossed over here, and you have to go to your backhand. Now you have to turn your body, change the positioning of your hips, look at your partner, and now make the pass. That time
in this
a
game,
big difference.
Yeah, in this game,
your defender now has stick on puck. That window opens up closely, or you have to make a backhand pass, which is, again, these are NHL players. They can make a backhand pass, but it's easier to make a forehand. You can sling it faster. You can get that puck to Chychrun quicker. I think the righty-lefty matchup on this pair specifically is going to bring some benefits to Jacob Chychrun, but you could see Stralman, even in that game Saturday, he was jumping in. He was jumping in the play. He was diving in through the middle towards the net. I think he might open up some space for Chychrun up top if he dives through the middle, pulling a defender down, opening more ice up top. We'll get some. By the way, we're going to bring a whiteboard in to when we talk about stuff like this to make a little more sense, and I'm serious about that. But he'll open up more space up top. Chychrun's got a bomb, which we've seen. He starts off where he left off offensively, and I'll be honest, preseason or not, I think the two of them were able to direct traffic in the defensive zone. And I thought their defending was pretty strong and solid for their first time together in a game situation.
I wanted to ask you about something that Stralman said when he took the podium after the game. It's clear to everybody that you want Jacob Chychrun to be able to go. You want him to jump up into the offense more than you want Anton Stralman to jump up in the offense. He's got the abilities. So Stralman talked about, being able to protect him a little bit and maybe teach him a thing or two defensively from his experience. From your perspective as a coach, what does it mean? What can he do to protect Jacob Chychrun defensively when Chick is jumping up into the play or, sliding up into the offensive zone sometimes?
First of all, it's a mindset, and your mindset has to be defending first. And Chychrun's mindset is going to be offense first. It just is. That's the kind of player he is. So first, Stralman's got to read a situation as it's occurring. It's going to be a lot of experience on seeing as a team breaks out of their zone and you're at the blue line. Okay, I'm not going to hold the blue line anymore. I'm going to back out. I'm going to back out, give myself another 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, another stick length, so I can react because I know Chick's going to stay in. Chick's going to hold the blue line. He's going to stay in. He might even dive down to try to take a stab at the puck. So I'm going to be in a better position. One, I'm going to get to the middle of the ice. So I'm going to get closer to the center ice dot instead of staying in my lane because I can defend an odd man rush better from the middle of the ice. And I'm going to back up a little bit. Now, you don't want Stralman getting 2 zones behind. But when you're experienced and you're smart enough, you can play that way. And you can go back, Adrian Aucoin, Rose Saval, Klesla, the 2012 D that we had. Those defensemen were really smart, not the quickest to feet, but they were extremely smart, and they knew how to back off a little bit to give themselves a little more time and space. And that's what we're going to see with Stralman. It's more of an anticipation of what's coming at them.
And what about in the D zone? What can he teach Jacob Chychrun there?
That's going to be when to go, when to stay. And it's going to be like you don't have time to read a situation. You have to decide and go. Players move too quickly. So do I leave the net front to go pursue a puck behind the goal line? Yes or no? Well, it's communication. Go, go, go. I got him. You're going to hear go, go, go. So Stralman will take net front. Chick can go into the corner and retrieve the puck or battle for the puck. So it's going to be a lot more coming and going from the net front because you want to make sure one of those two is holding the net front position. So it's going to be a lot of communication. And sometimes Chick might play the other side too. Like Chick might go into the right corner because he's quicker and can get on pucks more, and Stralman will just hold the front of the net. So it's going to be a lot more communication to who's protecting that net front position.
Should we go ahead and hear from them?
Sure.
So we have Chychrun and Stralman and then Coach Tourigny on this exact topic.
Another
first for PHNX Coyotes podcast.
For us.
Yeah, we haven't really skated much together, but I mean, I've enjoyed the short time we have had together. I think it's something that could be really good. I think the communication's already there. Strawley's such a great guy, and he's a guy that's played a long time in this league on a lot of really good teams, and knows what it takes. So I've been lucky to play with a few guys like that, and I think it'd be great if we were able to get a good thing going, some chemistry going, and hopefully we can continue to build on one another and continue to get better together. Yeah, I think he's similar to Goosey. In a sense that I honestly think they play pretty similar games. So I think it'd be a good transition. The only thing is he's a righty, which might even be a little bit better for us to facilitate, use each other a little bit more, especially in the O zone on the point there. And, you know, I think he's a guy that can play in all three zones. He's good with the puck, good skater, good defensively, makes good reads. So just a smart player, a smart veteran guy that has played in this league for a long time. So he's easy to play with, he's fun to play with, and he's somebody I think I can learn a lot from.
No, but he's obviously a high-end talent. He's great defensively, offensively. You know, he's got a lot of tools to be a great player in this league. So it was fun. You know, it's the first game. It was the first game for him, second one for me. So I think I maybe felt a little bit better in the body, but I think he handled it great. You know, and coming off his surgery too and everything like that, it's not easy. So I think, you know, we work on it, and if we keep playing together, I would love that opportunity, and I think we can kind of balance off each other a little bit. Good minds. So I mean, he's got way more offense than I do. So I think you know, I'll take the back seat a little bit and let him, you know. I think he should have a little bit more freedom moving up the ice. You know, he's a threat. You saw that today with those shots. So, and then I'll read off him and give him support and back him up as much as I can. And defensively, maybe I can show him a thing or two, maybe. And you know, it's so much about communication. You know, in the zone, and we're trying to learn this new system. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think you know, I think we read a game fairly similar. So I think it should be pretty good.
Well, I like there's two really good players playing together. That's the first thing I like. There's two guys who are strong on pucks, strong on battles. They have skill. They can make plays. They have good execution. Obviously, Chick has brought a lot of offense, but Stralzy as well as poise in his game. He has a thought process. He's easy to play with. You know, he's tough to play against and easy to play with. He makes others better. So I think it's a good pairing.
Nice to hear from all three of them. Petey, I wanted to ask you something about this situation. One of the things that they didn't talk about in the audio there, these guys hadn't played together in camp. They were in separate groups. So when you throw them together for the first time in a game, I don't know how much you take out of that and how much more of a body of work that you need to see before you're convinced this is the right pair.
Yeah, it's going to take time. Yeah. It's a positive step forward. They were able to move the puck together well. They got out of the zone well. I thought they defended well. So I think it's a great sign, but you do need a bigger sample set. You know, you need more games under their belt to see what truly they are. And there'll come a point, and believe me, they're going to ride this for a while. This isn't a 1 or 2 game experience. They're going to take this for a while to see if it really clicks, because once you've played together for a long period of time, you start to know where the other guy is, even without the communication. Hey, I know he's going to be in another corner. I can just ring the puck around the boards, and I know he'll be there to get it. I think that type of communication, that type of synergy really takes time, but it was a step in the right direction, and it's huge in the development of Jacob Chychrun to have a partner that can help lead him down this path.
Yeah, so important. We both wondered about that, how they were going to manage that. Losing Goose, he was obviously really important to Jacob Chychrun. He had a lot of faith in him. So how are you going to manage that and make sure that the guy you're building your franchise around right now still has a path forward?
He even said he was similar to Goose
that surprised me a little bit to Goosey,
yeah.
which I never called him.
I know, but you're right, and that veteran leadership is what Minnesota looked for from Goose, and that's why they signed him, because they want that same kind of experience, leadership to lead Spurgeon down a similar path of you know, getting to the top of his talent level.
Yeah, Goligoski played really well down the stretch, as you remember. Is the advantage of Strawman on the right side versus Lyubushkin or Timmins, who are also right-handed, is it simply experience? Is that what you get? Absolutely, and I think you might see a guy like Timmins maybe next year. You know, Timmins is not. We talk about Timmins a lot, like he's made it and he's there and he's arrived in the National Hockey League. He just doesn't have a large body of work in this league right now. He's still extremely young, and he's learning just as much as Jacob Chychrun, if not more so. So I think it's unfair to put him in that spot and have two guys that don't have the complete experience
following down that road. I think that's a challenge. And Lyubushkin, he brings something different than the other defensemen on this team from the right-hand side do. He's more physical. I don't think we're going to confuse him with a really elite puck mover. So I think that's why you need the Stralman pairing. I think that's why it's so huge going forward.
And Connor Timmins also had 2 assists in that game on Saturday as well.
He's going to be good on the power play. I mean, he's a secondary power play threat that they needed from the back end. I know Chikrin's carrying the mail on the power play, but Connor Timmins, again, when you've got that time and space, he can make the plays. And I think that's where they're going to look for him to take his biggest strides on the second power play unit.
Playing alongside Ghost, though?
I think so. We'll bounce back and forth between the two games, but in El Paso, Gostisbehere looked pretty solid.
He did,
pretty
actually,
calm, comfortable with the puck. He gets the first goal off the power play and a little wrister through, seeing eye wrister. I thought he looked really confident, and that's a great sign for him after the last couple of seasons in Philly.
It's a minor thing, but then you let the two Russians play together, lefty righty. They can communicate certainly a little bit better.
I think probably for now.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the plan.
We'll see where Capobianco fits in that
yeah,
mix too. Yeah,
you know, Capobianco's still trying to get up to speed after being out of practices a few days with injuries. Provlenev, I need to see more.
Yeah,
like we saw the big hit in the third period. I think he leaves his feet on that big hit.
Yeah. On that note, player safety is not going to look at that anymore. I have verified that, so that they're not concerned with that hit. So that's okay. That's off the table,
which is good.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I wondered about it for that reason. It was a tough angle to see because of the streaming, the camera angle there. But I thought he left his feet too, and so I was wondering about that. But I confirmed that they're not.
By the third period, the physicality in that game picked up, and it was more of an NHL game. You saw a couple of fights, you saw the big hits, and really the Provlenev hit probably precipitated a lot of that. And if not for leaving his feet for just a mere second, that's a heck of an open ice hit. Keep your head up, like through that part of the ice, and that's the kind of stuff that he's going to make opponents think about. Hey, and that 1 second of thinking about, hey, is he going to be there? That's enough to create a turnover in the neutral zone. So I think that pair, wait and see what Capobianco does when he comes back to health. But those two Russians, I see that as your third pair to start the season. But we'll get more of that over the weeks to come.
Since we're on the subject of defense, should we talk about who we see trending in what direction?
Sure. We've got some cool graphics created, don't we?
You like to think so. So we were talking about who's trending in what direction in each position. We've talked about the position battles before. And just because you get a downward arrow doesn't mean that you're necessarily bad. It just means that we think that they're trending toward maybe Tucson rather than the Coyotes roster.
Or there's some things holding him back, like being out of the lineup.
Yeah. So like for Capobianco, for example, he's out of the lineup with an injury. Soderstrom, we've talked about probably benefiting from being in Tucson, but we just mentioned Provlenev. So
who typed these?
Why?
I'm just curious. Kylie Capobianco.
Oh my God.
His sister.
Uh-oh.
Just
that
saying.
was me. I'll take full credit for that.
Fine. But I didn't type it. If it was me, I wouldn't have.
My roommate's name is Kylie, so it's probably like a slip.
Subconscious there.
It's early.
It is.
I haven't had my full coffee yet.
Let's do a clearing on Kylie. We're good. We've cleared it off the screen.
To all my journalism professors, I'm so sorry.
Proofreading is a thing, but this is going to be an audio podcast in an hour, and no one will know the difference. Except now that you're bringing it up over and over. So if I didn't point it out, we would have.
Yeah, if you didn't point it out, we could have gotten away with it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But Kyle Capobianco,
probably not with a Coyotes fan base.
Exactly.
What I got 3 replies already.
With Kyle Capobianco,
I take full responsibility.
He just hasn't been able to play.
Yeah.
And this is, Soderstrom to me last night in El Paso was the true. That's where he is. And when Rick Bowness, the head coach of the Dallas Stars, saw Victor Soderstrom and Provlenev as a pair out on the ice, Jamie Benn and Radulov and Seguin were coming over the boards.
Yep.
And it was men versus boys. And it cost a goal against in the third period with that pairing. You could see physically Soderstrom's not quite there yet. He couldn't handle those guys in front of the net. He couldn't take them all the way from the wall to the net. And that's the situations where he needs to, one, get stronger, more mature, and grow as a defensive player in Tucson. Offensively, he made some nice plays. I thought he got the puck up the ice really well. He was able to walk the line, look good with the puck. Away from the puck against real NHL players, I noticed him and Provlenev too. I think those two together, and Mosier. I think those three said, oh, maybe not quite ready yet. And this doesn't mean Victor Soderstrom is not going to be an everyday player in the National Hockey League. I believe he is. He just needs to play more at the American League level to attain that status and get those situations and play those minutes.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not a big deal. It's not to say that Victor Soderstrom isn't developing the way they hoped he developed. Defensemen take a long time. It's a really hard position to play in this league. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. They've got options, and like you talked about with Provolnev too. I mean, maybe your best option is to play Capobianco on that third pair with Lyubushkin, and Provolnev becomes your seventh defenseman, where you put him in certain situations. Maybe you're playing a heavy team like the Stars, and you want to put him in that situation. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But yeah, like you said earlier with the Arrows, don't read too much into them. There are different circumstances. It's not necessarily that a guy's playing badly. In this case with Kyle Capobianco, just hasn't had enough playing time for us to really get a sense of where he fits.
And we talked about cuts later today.
Yeah,
some of these races will be ended by the end of the day today, because you can only keep so many players.
Right.
Yeah. I'll be curious to
temporarily
see this.
Anyway. There's
Right.
always call-ups. There's
Sure.
always injuries. We'll see.
Yeah, it's I have a feeling we're gonna be seeing a lot of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about. Well, I guess we can talk about both games with the goaltending. So on Saturday, Carter Hutton played 2 periods, had a .875 save percentage, and then Vejmelka played 1 period. And then on Sunday, Kozenev. Did I say that right?
Kozhinash.
I was close.
That's a tough one.
Hey, it's better than the first time I ever read it, which I said like Coronar.
Yeah.
That's how it reads on paper.
Weren't they saying that last night on the stream?
Yeah.
It was rough.
It's a tough name.
Anyway, he had a .792 save percentage, saved 19 of 24. So not the best goaltending performance of all time. And we've talked about the goaltending battles a lot, but getting to see a sample size of 3 goalies over 2 days.
I just when I again, you got to take all of this within the perspective of what the Coyotes are trying to do. Do you want elite goaltending on this team? I hate to say it, but maybe not. When I look at their goaltending situation right now, I don't see a guy on this roster who's a true number one, and that's part of the issue. But maybe that's part of the plan. We'll see. Again, not only are cuts coming today, there are going to be a lot of guys on waivers. So we'll see if that gets interesting for the Coyotes. And they claim someone. Bill Armstrong has said, we have the room. We're going to be watching that. So maybe they change their goaltending picture that way. But again, maybe you don't want to. But when I look at this right now, I mean, Carter Hutton to me is more suited to a backup role. He's probably going to be thrust into this starter's role unless they get someone, or at least like splitting time with someone. So that's something to watch. And then with the backup situation right now, I think I feel a little more comfortable with the way that Vejmelka's played than with the way Kozhinash has played. But again, it's preseason, so I don't want to read too much into it. I don't know what your thoughts are.
And there's a lot of things here too, though. Like, when is Hutton going to play? He's played 2 periods through 4 games. There's 2 games remaining. Does he play all of both of them? Like, he hasn't played. For a goaltender, you got to play 60 minutes. You got to make yourself get through 1 full game just for conditioning purposes. Like, does he play the last game and that's it? So he's going to play 5 periods, or is he going to play part of?
Can't you do that though with these last 2 games? They're split by a day, and then you've got a week off.
So then he plays all those, and then Kozhinash and Vejmelka don't play again. And Vejmelka, so that'll be 10 days between playing it all. I'm not sure what their plan was.
Yeah.
Going all the way through this, and Tendik doesn't get any. Prosvetov plays a period or 2. Like, is there a plan, or is it just it's Hutton and Kozhinash right now? Kozhinash has played more minutes than Hutton. Again, Hutton may start these next 2, and everything is fine, and maybe it's Hutton for 2, Kozhinash 1, or Vejmelka 1, and then Hutton all the way through. But what we haven't seen, and I guess it's partly preseason too. You're seeing there's a lot of scoring in preseason, but you haven't seen, wow, what a great save. What a great save. Like, I don't think there was a memorable save from the weekend, right?
I'd agree with you, actually, yeah.
Like, there's nice save, but the shots through, there's no traffic from a shot from the point. Oh, they made the nice save, but nothing in El Paso made me go, oh, wow, that was a great save. I didn't see that, that's a concern. But to your point, is it a concern?
Yeah.
It's just you're back and forth on.
It's a weird situation to be in, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
you're
when you're
excited
analyzing
about
a team.
3-0, and then
Yeah.
now we go see them against Ben, Seguin, and Radulov, and you go, "Uh-oh, that's what it's like against NHL players." And to be honest, Kozhinash wasn't good enough.
Yeah,
he wasn't good enough. I mean, you get your save percentage under 800. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they've determined who the backup is yet. I don't know. I mean, Hutton's their guy. So we'll see, unless, to your point, unless something changes on waivers. Prosvetov's your guy down there, and Hutton's your guy up here.
Well, there's still a lot of uncertainty in that position, but what's not uncertain is that you can get $100 in free bets from DraftKings if you sign up using the code PHNX and bet just $1 on any NFL game, and either of those teams scores a point, which the last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943. Fun
Good
fact. So your odds are good. So that's the DraftKings Sportsbook app, which is our official sports betting partner. I'm wearing the DraftKings shirt that they sent me. Shout out DraftKings. Thank you so much.
My daughter already stole mine.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Shane yesterday was wearing his DraftKings hat and his Manscaped shirt, so he was a walking advertisement. And he thought someone was trying to sell him something in the Starbucks parking lot yesterday. But
they dropped their phone, and I picked it up, and I was like, "Did you drop your phone?" He looked at me. He was like, "No." Like he wouldn't roll down the window because he thought I was trying to sell him something.
Wow.
Anyway, DraftKings and DraftKings customers, you can do same game parlays. We've talked about that before, which is when you combine multiple bets for a bigger payout. So it's a really great, easy app to use. Shane finally had a good weekend. I'm just keep talking about Shane. Sorry. Yeah, he finally had a bounce back weekend. Petey,
he gave us the tip of the week last week.
Yeah,
right?
his DraftKings pick of the week.
Green
hit.
Bay to cover,
So
they did. So if you followed along to our bets guru, then you had a good weekend.
Exactly.
Which I listened to what he said.
Yeah.
And I did.
Well, anyway, the promotion, as I said, if you sign up using the code PHNX and you bet just $1 on any NFL game, you'll win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. You cannot miss out on that offer. So that's the promo this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
Was that transition? Was that improv? Or did you have that written down?
No, that was improv.
That was improv.
It's really
Now
good.
she just fed,
She does
just went
transition
right off
well.
of what Petey said. Yeah.
I'm still recovering from my typos, so
I know.
I'm really just trying to
I do apologize.
Well,
I'm
where
sorry.
You won't find a typo is in Craig's articles.
You might find that. Listen.
On
You might find it,
gophnx.com. Yes. Well, if I know the people tell you when.
Oh yes, they tell me all the time. Sometimes publicly, sometimes they DM me, but sometimes they
just
tell me
put it out
publicly.
there.
Yeah.
We're all human.
That's
We
all
all
right.
make mistakes.
It's all right.
But you can find all of Craig's articles on gophnx.com. Become a member to get access to those, not just Craig's articles, but all the articles across all of the beats. The Cardinals are 4-0. I mean, that's like a super exciting team to follow right now. They're doing great stuff. Johnny writes great articles about the Cardinals. So any Arizona sport that you're interested in, including ASU, U of A, we have coverage of it. And you can get access to all of that by becoming a member at gophnx.com. And if you sign up for a year membership, you get a shirt. The shirts are shipping. We saw the picture of them all laid out. They look amazing, like in person.
Mine's on the way. Can't wait.
In a photo, but still, they look amazing. So super excited. I can't wait to get mine too. So
I know. I'll be wearing it day one.
Your Morgan's Minions shirt.
We
Appreciate
do
that.
need a Morgan's Minions
No, we
shirt.
don't.
That might sell out. You might retire.
That'd
on
be the
Morgan's
leading
Minions.
shirt on the website
Seriously.
for sure.
That little guy. like
Blow the
Minion-
kite-
Who's the guy? Steve Carell plays in the Minion
Oh,
thing. The
Gru?
evil- Yeah, that's him.
I'm Gru.
Well, that would be the graphic. If Eric's listening, we should get
Wow.
on that shirt.
Just
today.
got compared to Gru.
Shane, help me out. Right? I see the resemblance.
Where's that? There it is. I was waiting for that. Okay. It's either that or I was gonna have to do another clearing after being compared to Gru. Okay.
Oh my God.
Thanks, bud.
All right, let's.
It's a good thing we have a history.
Veering back onto the road here. All right. Some other notes, I guess, from the weekend. Just Coyotes had 20 penalty minutes in their game yesterday. Liam O'Brien has been a standout, I think, for all of us. He had a goal yesterday. So did Christian Fischer.
I'm not sure where Liam O'Brien would fit. I'm not sure if he's going to be a regular in this lineup, but I could see him being an extra forward. I think he's done enough in camp to earn himself a look.
For sure. And when you listen to Coach Tourigny and what he wants out of a player, a guy that works hard, that he's in it, that he's aggressive, that is Liam O'Brien, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the kind of player he's been throughout camp. He skates well enough that he can get on the puck. He's physical enough that he can punish defensemen, and he can fight, which he showed in the last game in Dallas. So
he's got that epic beard. So
yeah,
just getting better.
I think the fans are going to like him. I think he's the kind of guy they're going to root for. We'll get in later in the week on how we think the line matchups are all going to fall out and see what kind of room they have for him in the everyday lineup. He's done everything he's been asked. He's been a fun guy to watch, and I hope we get a chance to see him play in some of these games as we get into the season.
Can I ask you, why does the waiver wire get more interesting now than there were players who went down through waivers last week, so why this week?
Yeah, but the players that go earlier on waivers are generally the ones that you know are going to get waived. They're not ready for the NHL yet. At this point, they're not as good. So the players that get waived now are, those guys that are right on the edge of maybe making an NHL roster. Sometimes there are economic decisions that force you to put someone on waivers. Sometimes GMs will try and sneak them through, hoping that a guy doesn't get claimed. This is when you see all of that happen. So if if guys are going to get claimed, it's probably going to happen right now. And of course, if you do claim a guy, he's got to be on your NHL roster. You can't then send him down to the AHL. You're responsible for his full contract, and he's got to stay on the NHL roster. So you've got to be certain that's a guy you want to add.
I love that level of chaos.
Yeah, but there's very few guys that get claimed off waivers at this time of year, because at this point, all of the scouts and management and coaches still believe in all of the guys that they have acquired throughout the summertime, that they don't want to give up on those guys yet. So you see there might be one or two people picked off waivers league-wide, but it's not something you're going to see a bunch of guys moving around teams today.
Somebody was claimed. I don't even remember who it was. I thought Montreal claimed someone, or New Jersey claimed someone the other day.
Montreal.
I can't remember Montreal, but
that's a good call. We should probably know that. We're a hockey show.
Well, you can probably find it by Google. So
Google that waiver.
How's that for a tip for you?
Man, the other, we talked about the defensive pair with Chychrun and Stralman. The other pairing that I thought was really noticeable in last night's game in El Paso was Roussel and Beagle. They played together 5-on-5. They killed penalties together, and I thought they had a real chemistry. They both came from Vancouver, so they know each other personally. They're friends, and they played like it. Like, they played really good together. I think that wouldn't be surprised if you see them on a line together.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. We call them first, second, third, fourth lines. I don't know with this team right now, but I see Beagle in the middle with Roussel, and that's a pair that you see together. And again, when you have a line 5-on-5, you would like two players from the same line to kill penalties. It keeps the synergy and changing lines much easier for the coach on the bench.
Right.
They were taking a guy from this line and a guy from this line. It makes it more difficult than when they're from the same line. So I would see those guys not only pairing on the PK, but playing together 5-on-5. I thought they looked great together.
Yeah, that's a middle six combo that we're probably going to see. Whether it's 2 or 3 probably depends on some of the position battles that we can talk about, and for which you've created graphics.
Now
as well.
I'm so stressed that I'm going to have more typos.
I promise I won't say
Barry
anything.
Hayton.
No, you should. Barry, okay, what should we do first, center or wing?
Let's go to the wing, since we're talking about a lot of forward sap.
Oh my god, now I'm reading it so closely.
Petey's scanning.
No, I'm not.
I think I did okay.
But on this.
Oh, I think Shane.
We talk about.
Yeah, I did this one, but if Craig pointed anything out, it'd be his fault, because I just copied and pasted his typing from the Slack messages. So
my mom was an English teacher, so I'm sorry, and I can't spell. So
okay,
I know. Just background information for future shows. Andrew Ladd here to me. We've played in one game.
Yeah,
you've been out day to day with injuries, and we talked about that first game. It was he started off slow. And so is that who he's going to be? I don't know. He's going to be on the opening night roster. I don't see any way that he is not part of the original 23. I just don't see it with his contract status. And do you, Craig?
I mean, here's the thing, though. Is anybody going to claim Ladd if you put him on waivers? That's not going to happen, right?
No.
So you probably could if you wanted to. If you decided, yeah, you're going to send him to the A, you could. I mean, that's where he's been for the last couple seasons. So
Yeah, maybe because Galchenyuk has been a player.
Yeah.
Like, he possesses the puck. He's got offensive upside. He's quick on the forecheck. Again, you go back to Tournier's style. He wants F1, quick on the puck, on dump pucks, and Alex Galchenyuk can provide that. So, to me, he's had the leg up there for sure. And Liam O'Brien, we both like what he's done. And Leah, we all talk about how he's doing exactly what he's been asked. Galchenyuk's still more of an offensive threat than Liam O'Brien. So I think those two at least have a leg up over Andrew Ladd as of today on Monday.
Yeah, and I could see Galchenyuk being a regular. He's probably going to be among the 12 forwards you play regularly, whereas
you would think he would.
Yeah.
I mean, people wonder if on a tryout contract I think he's done everything he needed to do to get over the hump and become part of this roster. I think so far, with 2 games to go, I don't see any reason why he doesn't make the team.
Yeah.
Again, though, going back to tank season, do you add a guy that's going to score 15 to 18 goals by the trade deadline that you might be able to trade for a 3rd-round pick?
Maybe you
Is
can
that
trade
a
him even
good
earlier.
strategy?
Who knows? It's a fair question.
What
Yeah.
if he scores 15, but he gets you 3 or 4 more points, and now you're not last, you're 3rd to last because of those 4 points?
Yeah.
It's so hard to wrap your head. I like him on the team. I think he adds something. I think he gets speed, offense. He'll score points. But do we want that?
Yeah. I have to believe, too, for Alex Galchenyuk to sign a PTO here, he had to know that he was going to get some sort of opportunity because he had an offer from Toronto. Granted, it was a low offer, but he had an offer of a contract from Toronto. So
You would
do you
think.
turn that down for a PTO? Probably not, unless you have some sort of assurance. And his agent's Pat Brisson, who is an incredibly savvy agent. So I got to believe that there was some understanding there.
Do you want to go to the centers, Leah?
Let's go to the centers. I'm stressed.
There's Barry. Kidding.
Barry.
Kidding.
Oh my goodness. All right. I think I did okay. Whew. Barry Hayton's another one who was injured and out of the lineup. So that's kind of same position as Capobianco, where we
Exactly.
can't really judge too well.
Well, like Petey said, too, I thought he looked good when he played.
Yeah.
But now he's out
Now,
again. So
yeah.
hopefully he'll get an opportunity in these last 2 games to show what he can do.
Yeah, it's hard because it's more of what this organization is trying to do. What is the plan? If the plan is future, then Barrett Hayton should go to Tucson, right?
Yep.
Travis Boyd's an NHL player. I think he's been okay in these games. I don't think he's been elite offensively, and he hasn't been catastrophic defensively. He's okay. He's eating minutes at an NHL level. Jan Yannick, I thought last night in El Paso, again, you go, okay, he's not quite ready.
Yeah.
I think for the style of game he is going to play, where he's going to try to be more physical and he's going to stir things up and get under people's skin, I think you need to be physically more mature. I think he needs to be stronger. I think he needs to be able to handle those situations. Look at Michael Bunting. It took Michael Bunting years to play it under your skin kind of style to find his way into the National Hockey League. Jan Yannick just needs more time to get to that level. It's going to come down to me, to Boyd or Hayton. And right now with Hayton being out of the lineup, unless he can get in one of these 2 games, the easy call is going to be to send him down at least to get ready and get physically back to a point where he can play.
Yeah, and that's okay, right? Give him
Absolutely
give him
it
some
is.
time down there. Yeah.
And like I think I said this last week on one of our podcasts, like, I just have this feeling that, it's a long NHL season. People are going to get injured.
Mhm.
Things are going to happen. And I have a feeling we'll see Barrett Hayton in the Coyotes lineup at some point this season, whether it's for an extended time or not. But I just, just because the opening night roster is one thing, I don't think that's representative of what this team's going to look like
I have no
the
doubt
whole
he's
year.
gonna
Yeah.
be there.
So I have a very strong feeling that we'll see him, whether it's next week or, down the road in this year. So.
Yannick fought Radulov last night, right? Am I remembering this
Yep.
correctly? That was interesting to see.
There was some fighting last
Yeah,
night.
there was.
Yeah,
Liam
I was-
O'Brien, even Yannick, he's been involved in fights in the AHL, but to fight Radulov surprised me a little bit.
Actually, it started with him putting a little cross check in the back of Radulov, and Radulov said, "Okay, kid,
Yeah.
here we go." And I thought Radulov was able to get his gloves off quicker and landed a couple of quick ones.
But then Yannick came
Yannick
back.
started
for
throwing
the
it.
tail
And
end of it.
He didn't get embarrassed by an NHL veteran. I thought it was pretty even after that. Good on him. and he's going to have, if he's going to play the way he plays,
Yep.
that's not the last fight Jan Yannick's going to see this upcoming season.
Yeah.
It's part of what he is, I think. And you've got to find that balance of getting under the skin of your opponent, and you can't spend 5 minutes in the penalty box. So you got to find that mix where you can push it just enough, but keep it between the whistles so you can stay on the ice. Like, if he wants to be an offensive threat, he's got to be on the ice. Can't be in the penalty box. So I think he needs to learn more the North American game, the North American style in the American League, and become a better pro to play that style, but still keep it between the whistles.
Before we move on and talk about ASU, let's talk about the Kraft Hockeyville and the fact that yesterday's game was not even aired on national TV. It was streamed on NHL.com, which when I watched it, I had to keep it small screen for it to not be blurry. I don't know if anyone else had that issue. But let's just talk about the execution of this event yesterday and over the weekend.
I know several Coyotes fans voiced their displeasure with the fact that it wasn't on NHL Network. I think NHL Network actually had a different game, right? Didn't they have the Vancouver game on?
Mm-hmm. Vancouver.
Okay, I get it. In the regular season, you want a game that probably will give you better ratings. But you're marketing this game as a big deal, and then you don't even televise it. And that's, to me, that's the tip of the iceberg. But listen, Kraft Hockeyville is a good concept, but it's a bit of a PR sham too. They don't go all in, and they definitely didn't go all in on this event. I've heard there were some events that were actually canceled that the Coyotes wanted to do. I mean, if you're going to do this, do it right. I mean, commit to it. And the bigger thing to me is you're playing in a city that's predominantly Hispanic. Isn't this the perfect time to announce plans, at least announce plans for a greater marketing effort within the Latino community? And at best, how about announcing a game in Mexico? Why haven't you done that yet? It's literally our neighbor to the south, and we have all these teams that play close to the border, and they haven't done a game in Mexico yet. What are we doing?
I think for as big a deal as the league wants this to be, and it's Hispanic Heritage Month in the National Hockey League, how this game wasn't on their network, I don't understand. And you and I both were texting back and forth half hour before the game trying to see, are we in the right place? Can I find it here? Where am I going to stream it? Should it have been that hard?
Nope.
Like, I turn your
like
TV
if you go
on,
to the when they list the games at the top, if you click on that link that they offered,
was an ad.
That's not the link you
I know.
want. So wow, come on.
So I went down
NHL.
that rabbit hole first, down the ad, and then I go, wait a minute, this shouldn't be this hard. So I just waited, and the game was there. Everything was fine. I think the players that went, I think the events live inside the arena on game night were great. They did the things they wanted to do. It was great for El Paso, what they were able to do to that arena, and the money that they were able to put into the facility has been fantastic. Yeah. Great for hockey in El Paso. All of those things are true. But how are we going to hear about it? And again, I'll go even a step farther. If you're going to market a game in preseason, do you put it on Sunday night at 6 o'clock when Tom Brady's in Foxborough? How many sports fans are watching that feed besides the three of us? Right. And there are other nights to have preseason hockey games that don't conflict with national NFL games. I don't understand. It's not my place to understand. We just watched. So
I got to tell you, even some of the content I was listening to, and I know there's a certain amount of you want to get into the community, but I thought the decisions they made for stories they were telling in the community were dull. They were unimaginative. They were the easy story. So like, as much as this is a good idea in concept, I didn't think they executed it on it at all. And then when we're talking about the money that they put into this arena, El Paso has one hockey rink. So how about launching an initiative where you get more ice, you create more opportunities? Because how does hockey grow in a community? With the availability of ice. You still got one ice sheet there. Great. It almost felt like lip service to me. It didn't feel like real commitment. Yeah.
Which is disappointing because
it's disappointing.
We're all for growing the game, especially in the Southwest and in communities where it's not huge. And that arena, they did get $150,000 to upgrade that arena. So,
that's cool. And I don't want to diminish that, but come on, commit more. Actually show a greater commitment to growing the sport in that community. I didn't see it.
Yep. Any final notes on the Coyotes, their weekend, Kraft Hockeyville, anything before we move on?
Yeah, now, what we saw from Dallas last night, that's what you're going to see from the Coyotes in these last two games. We're going to get more of an NHL-looking roster. Clearly, cuts are coming today anyway, so we're going to get down really close to what the opening night roster is. But, yeah, this will give us a much better indication of what the Coyotes are capable of.
And I know we were missing Schmaltz and Kessel, who is still injured, and there were plenty of players. The top defensive pair were out of this game, too. I just think that when you're looking at the teams in the Central, which we'll talk about later in the week, the depth of these teams, the amount of NHL players on these rosters, I think the 3-0 start in preseason could have been an aberration. So we'll see.
Sure.
Will there be a 3-0 start in the regular season? We will find out next week. Well, before we move on to ASU, just want to remind everyone that if you didn't do it the first time I said it, to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app using the code PHNX. And if you put $1 on any NFL game, if either team scores. And even in yesterday's game with Tom Brady that we just mentioned, it was a low-scoring game in that first half, but they still scored. So you can win $100 in free bets. It's a no-brainer to do using that code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Do not forget it. And now I think it's everyone's favorite part of the episode.
I know.
I was going to create a segue. I was going to wonder if Tom Brady manscapes.
No, I'm not. I have no part in this.
Honestly, and Shane, I'll defer to that. Leading into the Manscaped read, is there any doubt that Tom Brady manscapes? All right, look at him. There's like none.
Well, he may wax.
Absolutely, he does.
He may wax.
He may.
So.
The only way he doesn't manscape is if he got surgery to remove all of his body hair, which
again, or if
not
he's even
question.
Human, which he
can afford.
There is sometimes I question.
I'm a huge follower in the Tom Brady as a reptilian club. So
He might be. But support for the PHNX Coyotes podcast is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in male grooming. Their 4th-generation performance package absolutely changed the grooming game, along with their refined body wash to round out your hygiene routine. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for their shower time routine by going to manscaped.com for 20% off free shipping with the code PHNX. And we said it before, no nicks, no cuts, no fuzzy nuts with Manscaped. And I tell you what, I was a kid of the 80s, didn't matter, wasn't a thing. I don't know when it became a thing, but it's a thing now. So you better have the right tools and you better clean that stuff up, and you do it at manscaped.com. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. Keep your balls trimmed, fresh and clean with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
I didn't think you were going to go there again. I didn't think it was possible.
I went there. I got it.
Okay.
You got to pay the bills, Craig. One thing I learned about this, I liked our previous gig. It was fun. But it's way better when you're paying the bills.
Okay.
And when Manscaped is sending you a
By the way,
package
did you get your kit?
I did.
I don't. Craig won't even admit to getting the kit. We got a little kit.
I need Craig to wear his Manscaped shirt to a show.
I know.
Your balls will thank
come.
you is what
Your
it
balls
says.
will thank you, it says. And if you get
not
the
gonna
performance package, you do get free gifts. Boxers come in there.
Oh, yeah, I got boxers too.
Yeah, and a shed travel bag that you can store all your stuff in.
A what travel bag?
A shed, S-H-E, because it's like landscaping tools in your shed.
Okay.
So it's a travel bag to keep all your Manscaped stuff together. And there's a lot more than trimmers. Just go to the site and see what they offer. Seriously, there's a lot more stuff. Yes.
Just trying to
You got
keep
the
him going
lawnmower,
on
the
it.
crop reviver,
Way beyond the necessary
the
length
weed
of this ad
whacker.
read.
There's
This
a
is-
lot of
This is
tools.
impressive.
Oh my
Just telling you.
gosh. I don't even know. I don't know how to transition
you
out
come
of that,
out of
though.
that
It's
one,
my
Leah?
thing.
Yes.
Oh
Let
my
me see how
God.
you do
How do you go
this.
from manscaped.com to ASU hockey? How do we get there?
Oh, point shaving scandal.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay, he already used that one, so don't act like
Point shave, that
he
is
just
good,
thought of
though.
that off the top of his head.
I got to work on the transition stuff.
Headache Smith, going way back.
I
Nice.
get every day,
Oh,
so I got to
man.
figure it out.
Well, I want to make sure we do have time for our listener questions, so we'll just briefly touch on ASU. ASU also split their weekend of games. They won 5-3 on Saturday, lost 4-2 yesterday. Saturday, 4 of the 5 ASU goals came on the power play. 14 penalties in that game. Yesterday, half the penalties, but there was an ejection. And just looking at both games, here's a name. Matthew
Copperhead.
Copperhead. Okay.
They call him Copper.
Okay, that's easy. Copper. He was on the score sheet both nights. 2 goals, 1 assist Saturday. 1 goal, 1 assist yesterday. Josh Stone, 3 assists Saturday, 2 assists yesterday.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Sidebar, people are reading the graphics. So just saying.
I know
they are. I'll leave it at that.
I know they are. So getting back to ASU.
Trying to deflect from his Manscaped read by bringing up my typo. Continue.
Yeah. So I was at the game on Saturday, the first game of the series, and first of all, wow, what a scene that was. I wrote about this. I had to park in an office park down like a half a mile away because I couldn't get into the lot. It was crazy. And Oceanside has a paved lot, and then they have that dirt lot out front. It was all full. There was a long line. Like if I wait in this line, I'm not going to see puck drop. So I just found a spot, walked a half mile, show up at the front entrance. There's a guy looking down at his phone. I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me where I could pick up my media credentials?" He looks up. It's Shane Doan.
Unbelievable.
Out there apparently volunteering, helping out. He's like, "Oh yeah, right here." Walks me over to the table. So thank you, Shane. Shout out for helping me get my credential and get in. Biz was there to see Josh Doan's debut as well. 3 assists, as you mentioned. That place was packed. It had so much energy. I know they're moving into a new arena, and it's going to be cool. I've done the virtual tour of it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to help the program. But Oceanside is a serious home ice advantage when they play there. The fans are on top of you. It was nuts that night. And ASU, although I thought they got outplayed at 5-on-5 in that game, and Greg Powers admitted that, they had 4 power play goals, so they come back and win that game. Sunday, the crowd wasn't as big. I don't think they fed off them as much. They did rally to tie it 2-2, but they lost. I don't want to raise too many concerns about ASU because it's so early. It's the first series. You've had a lot of changes. You got to figure things out, but they got to get better at 5-on-5. UMass Lowell is a good team. They're not an elite team, and I thought UMass Lowell was by and large the better team this weekend, so ASU has some work to do.
And I'll just give a couple of quick points on ASU because I know Leah's excited to get out of here too. To the next thing, right, Leah? Leah's trying to keep the show moving. Josh Doan, 5 assists.
5 assists in 2
which
games.
We talked about Shane being here and what all that meant for Shane to be able to see his kid. That's great. Josh did everything we expected him to do offensively. Do you have any idea what that building holds?
I can't remember now. I don't want to say
but for a college atmosphere to have the fans literally on top of you, that's what college hockey is about. So as this season progresses, I know this is a Coyote show, but we are going to hit on ASU hockey because you get to see really good players in a unique atmosphere as the season progresses.
NHL draft picks.
Yeah, so keep hitting on it as they go. I think getting a split over the weekend is great.
Yeah, Greg Powers cited that as one of the 4 key series of the season that would sort of decide their fate. They got a split out of it, so they're okay. Yeah. And like I said, it's the first series of the season, so don't take too much out of it at this point.
Was that accurate?
It says 747.
Is the attendance?
It's higher than that. It's over 1,000.
Yeah,
they put people on the glass.
Yeah.
I think the fire safety is 747.
Yeah. So now you've alerted the government to that. Way to go, Shane. Way to go, Shane.
They were basically hanging from the rafters on Saturday. It was crazy. Yeah. Low rafters too, by the way.
I know, he came in real hot.
So we're gonna get some listener questions.
Yeah, let's get
today?
we got some listener questions. Thank you, first of all, to everyone who sent in. We got a ton of questions last night and this morning. A lot of them we've kind of addressed throughout the course of the show, but I'll just pull a few that we didn't talk about. This one actually I found really interesting. Sasha on Twitter said, "Why haven't Alex Morello and the Yotes announced any sportsbook partnership as of yet?" And can we?
Well, I think that answer is directly tied to their situation with Glendale. What are you going to do? You're going to put it in Glendale and then be gone in a year? So it's definitely in their plans. I mean, if you look at the schematics and the renderings that they've offered for the Tempe proposed arena, there's a place for that. It's going to happen. It's definitely front of mind for that group. And again, this is Alex Morello's wheelhouse. He owns 2 casinos. He knows what he's doing. It may take a little longer to roll out, but it is definitely in their plans. And kind of going off of that, at Kachina Country on Twitter asked, is there any news on the Tempe arena? Or is it just status quo till Tempe says otherwise? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, look, Tempe in their release said this could take several months. I've heard from people that they could make a decision by the end of the calendar year. So we still have to wait a little longer, but we'll see how it goes. Adam in the Discord, our member Discord, which you can be a part of by becoming a member at gophnx.com, asked any injury updates on Kessel or Hayden. We'll probably get those when the Coyotes have their next availability, but right now, nothing.
Yeah,
When-
I'm hearing that expect Kessel, and this will be interesting, and I think we'll address this before next Thursday, is I think Kessel will be able to be on the ice and be skating prior to opening night.
Yeah.
The question is, does he play? Like in normal
the Iron Man streak.
circumstances, he probably wouldn't because he's not up to speed. He hasn't played in any games. But because he's got that streak, is the pressure there for the organization and PR-wise to keep him in the lineup? We'll address that as it gets closer.
Yeah, and when they announced the injury initially, Bill Armstrong said at that time 2 to 3 weeks, they were hoping he'd be ready for the start of the regular season. So we'll see if he stays on that.
All right, here's just a out of left field one. This is from Dangle Snipe Belly on Twitter, which I love.
I count on Dangle Snipe Belly for out of left field questions.
What is the biggest fish Petey ever caught? Freshwater only.
Well, this is hard.
Land of 10,000 lakes. You had to catch a freshwater fish.
Expectations are extremely high because of my Minnesota roots, right? This may come as a big shock to all of you.
Have you never caught a fish?
Well, buddy. From Minnesota, like you could do that walking to school, you can catch a fish, but you need patience and you got to be able to sit still. What are the chances I like fishing? Sitting in a boat for 8 hours doing nothing? Are you out of your mind? So yes, I've done it. Do I have any record walleyes? No, it's walleye and perch in Lake Bemidji. I lived across the street from Lake Bemidji. You could walk on my neighbor's dock. I have caught very, very small perch off of that dock. I've caught a few northern up at Lake of the Woods, which is right on the Canadian border. And walleyes, average size walleyes. The guy I don't know, is that a 3-pound walleye? Somebody's going to take me to task. I just don't know how you can sit in a boat like this all day. I don't get it. Got to be doing something else.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean,
gotta be on the phone.
if it's beautiful scenery, you can enjoy the scenery, but I don't know if that's your thing. You know where International Falls is, right?
My dad lived across the river.
It's a true story.
The Rainy
Still
River.
have it mounted. I caught a 42-pound muskie.
Get out of here.
I'm serious.
In
with my
International
dad.
Falls,
In
Minnesota,
International
one
Falls,
of the
Minnesota.
coldest locations in the continental
We were there in the
US.
dead of summer, so it wasn't that big a deal. We
It's
had a
literally
bear
across
barreled
Canada.
through our camp at one
Oh
point,
my
which was
It's right on the Rainy
interesting,
River.
But yeah,
Huh. That's impressive. Well, digressing.
pure
but no,
luck. It was
so I
pure
have
luck,
been
by the way.
fishing. I have no great. I landed the big one stories.
Yeah.
No, I was doing
I've caught a
something
fish.
else. Do you caught a fish?
Yep.
In
at my-
Arizona?
No. In my family reunion in Chapleau, Ontario, which is a 12-hour drive from Toronto north.
family reunion in a cottage somewhere
Yeah,
on a
cottage
lake.
on a
like
lake.
every
Not a
good
cabin, a
Canadian.
cottage.
Yes.
Every good Canadian has a cottage on a
Cottage.
lake somewhere where they go in the summer.
I also that's
crazy.
That's not even never mind. Chapleau.
Okay.
Dangle
We don't want to
Snapelli,
delve
I
into
appreciate
family
that.
dynamics on this show.
No.
We'll have to do another
Chapleau,
clearing. We don't have
I
time.
caught a fish and we ate it for breakfast the next
I
day.
have done that
Breakfast.
too. I have done that.
Which is
caught-
funny because part
and
of
ate.
his question
Yes.
was, why is dinner for breakfast not as widely recognized as breakfast for dinner? And I agree.
She pretty much just answered the question for you, really. Do you want to eat fish for
That
breakfast?
is professional.
No.
Great. That segue. That's professional.
I've eaten pizza for breakfast. I've eaten lasagna for breakfast. I've eaten
You
pasta.
have. Okay, pizza I can see. Fish?
You've never
Fish,
had
though?
lasagna?
You want to eat fish for breakfast?
But couldn't you argue that smoked salmon on a bagel is breakfast?
Sure, but I don't eat that either, actually. I don't eat
I
loaves and
do.
bacon.
I think though, when you take a steak from the previous night, cut it up and put it in eggs.
There you go.
Why
That's
does
the
it?
thing,
Why
but it's
does it
still
have to be
breakfast.
eggs to
But
be
it's
breakfast?
still breakfast.
Anything
right?
you eat in the morning is breakfast.
But I'm
Sure.
that was Dangle Snake Belly again.
It was
See,
part of his.
'cause
He had
Steak
like
and
4
eggs is a
questions.
good call, though. That's
Like that was a
great
thing, though.
breakfast.
But you can do pancakes, eggs, and bacon with dinner. I've even ordered that at restaurants. I've had breakfast for dinner.
Yeah,
but
much more common.
I don't know.
After a
Go to
night in the
McDonald's,
town.
try to order a burger, but you can get breakfast all day. I don't know.
True.
Does that answer the question?
And few restaurants advertise dinner all day.
I might drop McDonald's. Breakfast all day.
Okay.
Can't get a burger for breakfast.
We'll debate this after
Okay.
because
Could be a whole show.
I have a lot to say. I know we need to bring hot topics back because
Yeah, we
I'm
do.
ready. I'm fired up. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Follow each of us on Twitter at Craig S. Morgan, at Leah Merrill, at S. Peters Hockey, and become a member. Follow along.
Podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts.
Yes, that's the one I was forgetting.
Nice.
Look at Petey. He's going to steal my job. First the ad reads, now that. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.